Who is God? God is all. God is forever. Hello, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Trinity Podcast. And just in case you're new, my name is I am make sure return a purpose enthusiast. I've been studying about this topic for the past 5 years, so I think I do have some level of knowledge in this regards. And also, I've been privileged to start an organization called Trinity, and our vision is to help 2 billion people, just like you and me, discover their reasoning for existing on the planet Earth and invariably maximize all of their innate abilities, potential that God has placed inside of them. And of course, the end goal is to make more money, be profitable, be wealthy. All right. And so if this sounds like a vision you'll be a part of, don't forget to like and subscribe. And please follow us on all our social media platforms. And so today's episode, we're looking at why you haven't discovered your purpose. I know a lot of people are probably at the point where they are frustrated, they're tired, and like I've done everything. Probably even watch some other videos on YouTube, or you join a church sermon, or you watch some popular people that you think can help you, and you've just been going around and around in a spiral, not knowing exactly why you have not found why is it you're existing on the planet Earth. This video is for you, and this episode is going to help you in no small. So please make sure you listen to the end. I think I'll start this episode with the nature of purpose. A lot of people don't know that the purpose that you want to discover has a set of attributes, a set of characteristics that you should know. It's like the same way, first thing we knew about God was that God is holy. Growing up, I remember my primary school, my nursery school rather, and we would have nursery school rhymes in the morning, and they would teach us a few things to memorize and say, and we start by saying, who is God? God is all. God is forever. So the first thing I knew about God was that God is holy, and the word holy means is selfless. But that's not what we're considering today. And so just like purpose also has a set of characteristics, just like God has a set of characteristics. So the first thing I would like you to know is that purpose has a nature, and that a lot of people have not discovered their purpose because they do not know the nature of purpose. And the first nature of purpose I want you to know is that purpose is singular. Purpose in your pursuit of discovering purpose, in your process of journeying into what God's purpose for your life is, you need to understand that purpose is singular in its approach. You cannot say I want to discover purpose and I'm doing many other things by the side. Purpose is singular. It's such a thing that you need to focus on when you want to discover. And what I mean by purpose is singular. There's this popular scripture that we've all heard again over and over again. If you're a Korean university student, you probably heard this TMC class more times than you can count. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. It says, for I know the plans I have towards you, plans of good and not of evil, to give you an expected end. Some translation will render it as to give you a hope and a future. And so, many persons stop here, but the verse does not stop here. It's just like saying, I would buy you shawarma or something, or food, or a car, or a phone, and I don't tell you when, I don't tell you where. It's just a promise without confines. And so it is very, very difficult to wrap your head as regards when exactly to be fulfilled. And so many people stop at verse 11, but the verse moves further. God did not stop at verse 11. He went further in Jeremiah 29. So when you go to verse 12, he says, and you would seek me and find me when you seek me with the whole of your heart. And he said, you will go and then you will pray to me and I'll be heard of you. And he said, I will be found of you. And so you need to understand this. I remember teaching this a few episodes ago. This is one of the Trinity Podcast. In case you haven't listened to that episode, the link will be in the description of this podcast. I think the title was, what is God's purpose for your life? And one thing I mentioned there very powerfully was, purpose is discovered when you discover God. So in discovering God, you discover purpose. You want to discover your purpose, you need to discover God. And this is what I mean when I say the singularity of purpose. There is only one way to purpose, and that way is through God. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but really, you want to discover God's purpose for your life, then you need to discover God. He said, you would go and pray to me, and I would hear you. And then he said, and then you would seek me, and I will be found of you. And in the process of finding out God, that is when verse 11 now becomes viable. When he says, I know the plans I have towards you, plans of good and not of evil, to give you an expected end. So God is saying, for you to unravel this plan that I have for your life, for you to discover this purpose that which is why you're existing, you need to find me. In finding me, you find purpose. So don't go around trying to do many things. Focus on finding God, finding out who He is, His personality, His plans, His vision, His word. Just try and get to know God more. And the process of finding God, you would find purpose. Now, the second reason that you probably haven't discovered your purpose is quite simple and something that a lot of people do not know. Obviously, they don't know, so that's why you're probably on this, episode listening or watching if you're on YouTube. And that says, don't have a plan B. Just don't. But there's something about God, and I said, you first point that for you to find your purpose, you'd have to find God. There's something about God. God is such a jealous God. He doesn't like it when people try to put him side by side with him. If you remember the very popular story from the Bible story, and if you're not a Christian, I hope you can relate one way or the other. And so it was the story of Dagon and the Ark of Covenant. And so they brought, they affected the Israelites. They took the Ark of Covenant from their city, and then they brought it into the shrine, or let me call it the place of worship of another god. And so the first day, overnight, when they brought in the Ark of Covenant, they came in the following day and they saw that Dagon, that is their idol that they were worshiping, had fallen down face flat. And then they raised him back up. They told me it was like a coincidence, maybe like a strong wind blew the night and then fell down, right? And then the following day, they returned. And this time around, Dagon wasn't just on his face flat. It was broken into pieces. And so that paints a picture of the fact that God is such a God that is jealous. He likes to occupy a definite place in your heart, in your life, without competition. And so his jealous nature makes us understand that when we are seeking our purpose, we should not have plans that are on par with him. Say, for example, you have been crying, Lord, I want to discover my plan, your plan for my life. I want to discover purpose. I know there is a calling upon my life, and I look forward to discovering it. Can you please help me? But at the same time, you know somewhere at the back of your mind that if God does not speak, I had this plan to fly to Canada. I will just japa and I'll seek it like. In scenarios like that, whether you like it or not, those are like idols that also try to compete with God's plan for your life. And remember the nature of God. He's such a jealous God. So don't have a plan B. When you're seeking out purpose, don't have a plan B. I know to say that is such a big claim, right? But at the same time, you need to understand that God's plan for your life is the best. I know they say there's this popular phrase of saying God's time is the best, but even a more better saying is the fact that God's plan is the absolute best. I know you have plans to travel out and study a particular course and go for a particular job, start your own YouTube channel, start a podcast, start a business somewhere. You have 20 years plan. But remember, God is such a jealous God. He's such a God that He loves to occupy a definite space in your life without competition. And so you need to understand this. It is beautiful that you have plans, but when you are seeking out purpose, even though you have those plans, you don't rely on them fully because you understand that God's plan will be better. And God's plan, even though it doesn't look like it right now, it will be better. And I think I also need to talk about this. A lot of people struggle with the fact that they feel like God's plan will cage them. It will be not so pleasant. God will call you into ministry and be a pastor, and then you cannot go to business you want to. Well, purpose spans beyond that. That's the good news. Purpose is not just limited to the pulpit ministry. It spans across every single sphere of life, from business to government to media, to any industry you can think of, or any mountain of influence you can think of. God can call you into what you actually desire. And that is something I hope to talk about in coming episodes. But back to my point, which is don't have a plan B. When you're seeking out God, you can make plans for life, beautiful, but don't rely on those plans when you're seeking out God. It's more like you're presenting God and Dagon side by side. And God is such a jealous and a holy God. Remember, it is in finding God that you find purpose. And when you find God, in Him you will find your purpose Paul puts it like this: says, in him we live, in him we move, in him we have all of our being. The one that created you knows why he created you, and he has your best interest in heart. Remember, if you could send Christ to die on the cross for you and I, how much more all the beautiful plans you can possibly put together just to see that you end up great, you end up well, you end up in positions beyond what your plans can even carry you to. So you can trust God. It is true, right? I'm saying, making it very audaciously, that please don't have a plan B. It is coming from a standpoint of the fact that the faithfulness of God has been tested for centuries, thousands upon thousands of years, and he has been found faithful. And if he has not failed in time past, he won't fail when it comes to you. And so I'm begging you that as you're seeking out purpose, make sure that you don't have a plan B in case God doesn't show. So I think I would like to wrap up this episode by just going over the two things I mentioned that might be stopping you from discovering your purpose. The first being the fact that the way to purpose is singular, the singularity of purpose. You can only discover God. You can only discover your purpose rather by going through God. Probably that's why you haven't discovered your purpose in the past. You need to understand that there is no other way around purpose except through God. The second way is that you might just have been having a plan B that is just there by the side. Even though you're trusting God for delivery of your purpose, you have a plan B that if God does not show up, right, I will just go ahead and go with my plan. But just to wrap things up, I'd like to read a scripture to you from Job chapter 14 and verse 14. And it says, if a man die, shall he live again? And it says, all the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. You can trust God. I know it's taking a while. I know you've been trusting God for this probably for a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years. But Job is saying that all the days of my appointed time, I will wait till my change comes. Job was a man that was in much tribulations, much challenges. But you could make that declaration that until my change comes, I will not stop seeking God. And you can make that your resolve. So even as a wrap of this episode, that until I find God, I find purpose, I won't give up. And I trust that it will be revealed to me. So thank you so much for tuning on today's episode. Thank you for listening to the very end. If this blessed you, share with your friends, your loved ones, your colleagues. It will bless them in no small way. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And of course, if you want to listen to the audio version, is on Spotify at Trinity Podcast. And thank you so much once again. I'll see you next episode.